Welcome to the Seeds of Discovery podcast, a space for exploring energy, intuition, and the deeper layers within. We're your hosts, Elaine Riley, Beth Blair, and Amanda McCaskill. Together, we guide conversations around Reiki, spirituality, astrology, and the subtle patterns that shape our lives, not as something to fix, but as something to witness, understand, and work in relationship with. This is a space for exploring your inner world, for noticing your patterns, your energy, and your natural rhythms so you can move through life with more awareness, intention, and alignment as you navigate the transitional pathways unfolding within you.
Well, hello.
Nervous laughter. Yeah,
I know.
there it goes. And it's so funny. The video just did a crazy thing when you did that. But hey, Elaine.
Hey, Beth, how are you?
I am good. I feel like we haven't done this in forever.
I know. We've talked, but not like this.
We've talked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was summertime.
Mm-hmm.
We both, we went on a hiatus because life happened to us, right?
Like it was unexpected hiatus. We didn't plan for it, but
right.
That's where the energy took us.
Yeah, it certainly did. But I'm sitting in a new office space. I moved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to be closer to you, Elaine, and yet we're doing this.
Yeah. And we're still in separate places.
We're still in separate places, but we are in the same zip code now.
We are, yes.
We are in the same zip code. And that was a lot. And then you've had some additions in your world.
Yes. So we had summer break, which is always crazy with the kids because they're home and the husband is home. He's working from home. So everybody was home. And then we got more chickens and a puppy.
Wait. All right. We're going to go back to the chickens and the puppy. But how does that feel for a wonderfully intuitive, introverted soul?
It's a challenge. I'm not going to lie.
To have all that testosterone. It's all those boys.
Yes. Just energy in general. I feel like that was a test from the universe, or the universe was inviting me to, pare down my energetic protection, my circle, use all the tools that I've been learning lately.
Right.
Yeah. Like putting them into action real time.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So back to the chickens and cause we've talked about your chickens and like every time we're in front of podcasting, I think to that episode of the chickens. So
I know it was funny.
So you added more chickens and you've stepped up in the chicken process because you actually now are collecting eggs.
Yes,
because your chickens have aged up, right?
I know, yes.
And so from a Reiki perspective, okay, I have to say, because thank you for the gift of the eggs. I don't expect gifts all the time of eggs, but thank you for the eggs. They're delicious, okay? Not gonna lie.
Thank you.
They are I almost want to hold them for a sacred day because they are so good. It's like, okay, I have other eggs. They're, use those for other things. But like these, when I want to have so you're in egg production and then you had added extra or new chickens, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you have a wish list of chickens. And see, I've gone down the chicken hole here, but
see, once you go down, you can't come back. Like I don't know what it is about the chickens.
Well, I almost feel like I have to give a plug to Claire of Cozy Up by Claire and her knitted emotional support chickens, because my attention for chickens between you and another one of our friends, and then Claire knitting up those chickens and them selling like hotcakes at Sea Glass and online, just kind of blows my mind. I didn't know that I was going to have, maybe I need to look at the totem of chicken and see how it relates in my life for me.
Yeah.
Because chickens are all around me, baby.
Well, chickens, I feel like it's community. They're a flock and they protect each other. Like, you talked about, I was getting new chickens. It takes a while to integrate the new chickens with the old chickens because the old chickens are so territorial, which I didn't really know before I got them. So it's a process integrating the new ones with the old ones. Like, it takes time.
It's like high school all over again. Those cliquey girls, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Oh, that's trauma right there. Let's not go down that hole.
Let's not.
That's for another day.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's talk about the other new addition, who I have to say, I still haven't met in person.
I know.
Which, I'm in the same zip code and I need to come meet this girl.
Yes. Oh, Amber, our new puppy. We did not expect or never would I have thought that we would have gotten a new puppy this year. Like, it's just not in the cards. But then it was funny. I don't know if I told you this.
Yeah, you had a lot going on. And then you send me a picture of a puppy. If you don't have enough chaos going on in your house, and then you send me a picture of a puppy, I'm thinking, what in God's name is this woman doing to herself?
So I said, I don't remember if I told you this after I got the puppy, but I pulled a card, in the beginning of the year for the feeling of the year. And my card for this year was puppy.
Stop it.
And it really was. But it's about being playful and joyful and stuff like that. So the revelation that I had recently, because during Mercury retrograde, I go back and I read my journals and I read my card pulls for the year. Yep. And I remembered that I pulled the puppy card. And I'm like, I feel like the universe was telling me that I was being too strict with myself. Like, I wasn't having enough fun, which I was.
Well, we were, right?
Yeah.
But it was a different kind of fun that you were having. Like, in the structure of fun, like the enjoyment, as a fellow Capricorn, I love that fun in structured and learning. And the playfulness kind of gets away from us when we become the taskmasters of our life and our study. And we forget to include other people.
Yes.
Agreed. In our fun. Because let's face it, we can operate by ourselves and be perfectly content. It's the people around us that are like, hey, can you re-engage over here?
Remember
can
us?
You participate? Remember us? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have balanced out the boy-girl ratio in your house now.
We have, yes, by a lot. Because even though I call the chickens she's, they are still she's.
That's right. That's right. Well, and all of this kind of falls under the umbrella of what this episode is about, which is, the change. We are in a transition for ourselves about our classes and our offerings, So there's that, but there's also the change in the energy, which is an important component too. So we're living into the energy right now because the energy is that of the unexpected. And we've both had a lot of change in our energy based on the things we're studying, the things we're bringing in, how we're working in our places and adapting our treatment spaces and study space and stuff like that. So change.
Yeah, a lot of change. Astrologically, we talked about it in one of the previous episodes, the Saturn Aries episode, which if you haven't listened to, it's still relevant. I highly recommend. But we're in that transition period now. We had talked about things changing and then things changing back. We're in the period where things are changing back. And we're going into eclipse season, which always brings change. And just what's the motto right now is expect the unexpected. Be flexible, but also have a plan for what's coming. But be flexible if it doesn't, if it doesn't play out the exact way that you wanted to.
Okay, and that to me is like such an oxymoron because
is.
Let's plan to be spontaneous. Let's plan for the unexpected.
That's totally my energy.
I know, but so comical to me because like I am a girl of routine, you know, and I love my plan. And at the same time, my expression as an artist is that unexpected because I, as an abstract painter, as an intuitive painter, I don't sit down and paint a portrait. I sit down and allow myself the freedom to see what comes off the canvas. And so the planned unexpected, like working in that realm, is kind of, there's a word, unlike well, it is kind of an oxymoron, and yet it still is so relevant because we have to release the control. And when we're planning, we're truthfully controlling. You know, we're laying it out and say, okay, universe, this is what I've got planned. And then the universe kind of goes, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Here you go. Well, you think this is what you have planned. Let's look at it a different way. Why don't we add this puppy into the mix?
Exactly.
You know, let's have you, you know, move and unpack and live in a different place. And, you know, I had a friend come into the house last week or the beginning of this week, whatever, recently, I'll say. And they're like, didn't you just move in? Like, it looks like you have lived here forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's my superpower. You know, I am an organized Capricorn and my space is very important to me. And being settled and comfortable means that I can't have chaos coming out of the boxes.
Yeah.
So then that determination of getting everything done, maybe to my detriment a little bit, maybe I pushed myself, you know, like I plan on living here for a long time, so it doesn't have to be unpacked by tomorrow. And yet the energy of this house versus where I was living is so joyful to me. It's so joyful, it's so peaceful, it's playful.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's not that my other place wasn't safe, but I don't feel like I have a worry here where I'm living.
I tell you, every time I pull up, I'm like, this is so cute. And I just love the energy of the house. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the big tree out front. I think that birch tree
it just greets you. Yeah.
I love that tree. I'm looking at it right out the window. I look at it every day and I'm just, you know, I'm just so grateful. So yeah. But, you know, but I did have some chaos in that transition of being here. You know, I was without a fenced in backyard for sweet little Fiona. So she was a little stressed at times. It was, you know, leash walking all the time and putting that into the schedule, planning to take the dog out instead of just letting her out.
Not to mention your injury that was holding you up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, that is like just like totally gone.
Yeah.
You know, it just, my pinched nerve. Yeah. That would have been of a good little topic, that pinched nerve that decided to show up while I was overdoing on the packing and moving situation.
And then you had to ask for more help.
Totally, I did ask for help, but I probably didn't ask for enough help. Let's truth be told, you know, because I am that independent, stubborn Capricorn. And the fact is that nobody's going to do it the right way like I would do it.
Yeah.
You know? Learned a lot about that, about letting that go.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard Lily. She just groaned really loud.
Yeah. Thanks, Lily. Yeah. Thanks for calling me out on that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there were a lot of great lessons in the chaos of the hiatus that we were on.
I think it shook us up and took us out of our comfort zone. We were in our own heads a lot and we were on track. We had a plan. We were trying to control it. But then, you know, you release that control and magic comes in. And we've had so many revelations and so much energy open up for both of us that we didn't expect.
Right.
Because we had to get shaken up. You moved, you were hurt. We got a puppy.
Yeah.
We got, everybody home. But all that, I look at like a tornado of energy.
Yeah.
And then when the dust settles, it's like, oh, we're in a new place.
Oh, and let's just add in the obstacle of the torrential rainstorms that we had all summer every time we had an event to go
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
colossal.
Like the energy, yes, was like, you're not supposed to be here right now. You need to do something new.
Yeah.
And it was like cleansing the old energy. So in turn, we have decided to switch our classes and our monthly offerings from Tuesdays. We always did them on Tuesdays, and we are switching them to Thursdays. Like we are resetting the energy going forward for our offerings because our offerings are changing. We're changing with what we've learned. We are both taking classes. We're eternal learners.
Yes.
Both of us. But as we learn, we evolve. And so we're trying to honor that.
And we were taking, just side note, people, we were taking those classes during the moving, the everybody home, the new puppy, the pinched nerve. Like, what the ever living bleep is wrong with us adding one more thing? It's like we always add one more thing.
Yes.
No.
No.
Too
much.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the offerings that are coming, so out of all of that, we've simplified through some of the planning, like so standardizing the time of our offerings on Thursdays. Everything starts at 6:00. Like, because we had the one thing started at 6:30, and it was like bouncy. And it's like, nope, let's just make it consistent. And then the idea that we're offering additional class styles, and I'm dancing between class and offerings because it's going to be a mix.
Yeah.
Where we're sharing our new learning and we're expanding not out of Reiki for real life, but we're looking at different components that can support your self-development and your path to your authentic self. And what are the practices, the tools, the curiosities, like giving people the opportunity to even just say, hey, I want to look at a little bit about, feng shui, but I don't want to jump in and commit to a whole thing. Well, through our Thursday offerings, we're saying, here's a little snippet.
Yep.
Okay. You don't have to get lost in understanding everything. We're going to look at one little piece. Let's talk about that. We're same with astrology. We're looking at one little piece and then because we do attract a lot of spicy, neurodivergent people. Our learning style, our teaching style speaks to the learning style that's ours, which is neuro spicy. Yeah. Like we need it in pieces and bites and connecting the threads and allowing for the divergent path. Because there are so many rabbit holes and chicken holes and things that we fall down,
Yeah.
So that was the other learning too, is releasing ourselves to teach the way that's best for us and best for the students that we attract.
Yes. Yeah. I had something and it just left. Oh, after we released, was it the last episode that we released before the hiatus, the neurodivergent episode?
Yeah.
We had so many people reach out that were like, either they didn't know that they were neurospicy or they didn't realize we were, and how much it freed up the energy to work with Reiki and intuition just from that episode. And one person even said that she now she understood after why our class hit differently, and she wasn't overwhelmed during it as much as she was with her other Reiki teacher. She loves her other Reiki teacher, but our class style, caters to that brain type because that's what we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, sitting in traditional class styles, even like I look back at going through college, going through massage school, going through any extended training, and even, I'm telling on myself, even preparing to teach, I still do these things to myself that create that neurospicy energy where I have to push myself to complete a lesson or prepare for a class to teach. Leaving it to the last minute that creates the excitement for me to get it done.
Yeah.
And, it may be on the calendar for months, but the week before I'm sweating it and I don't need to do it to myself, but that's the pattern of the neurospicy. And so here's the thing where that ties in for me to this episode is expecting the unexpected, planning, but expecting the unexpected. I probably need to give myself a little bit more lead time in preparation for things because of the unexpected things that could show up the night before a class or a workshop if I'm not prepared for. I might be walking in cold because an unexpected thing showed up in the time I had planned to do the prep.
Yep.
So prep early is my advice there.
Yeah.
So.
I usually do plan. That's okay. So I get migraines, which but not everybody knows a lot. So I always build out like one day of rest. I don't pick which day it is. But so last week we were talking, I had Tuesday, nobody was home. My husband was traveling, the kids were at school, and I'm like, I'm going to take Tuesday off. Guess what happened Tuesday? I got a migraine.
What happened? Yep.
So, and that's happened the last 2 times that I've planned on taking a day off. It's like my energy knows that it's coming and it's like, you're going to take a day off. But so when we're talking about planning and last minute, I always have it in my head that I could have a migraine. So I have to plan a few days early. So even though it is last minute, it still has a little bit of leeway time. And that's like, I feel like if I didn't have that, if the universe, almost like it's good that I have migraines because it taught me to plan for that.
Okay, this is a little off color kind of thing, maybe too much information, but you planning for migraines and doing that makes me think of how my pinched nerve got healed.
Yeah.
Because my pinched nerve really got released when I went for my annual mammogram. And ladies, how much a mammogram hurts. Well, imagine having a pinched nerve right here in the girdle of the area. And so I casually said to the tech that, I have a pinched nerve. And she kind of just dismissed it, but I was just like, okay. So I'm in the experience of it. And then when the contraption released, I was like, well, that's interesting. And then I came home, and then the next day, the pinched nerve, all the symptoms of the pinched nerve were gone. So, you talking about your migraines scheduling ahead for their time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would like to see you rest in a different way without a migraine.
Me too. And I think that's part of the learning process that I'm going through. I used to, but now I have to get back into, it's like the new normal.
Yeah.
Because I used to have my time by myself. I could do my meditations whenever I wanted to. And even now, I would usually wake up an hour early so that I could have my time. But now the puppy wakes everybody up because she knows how to open the doors. So nobody sleeps in. I'm up, everybody else is up.
Yeah.
Lily just groaned. Yes. She's like, yes. Yeah. So I am navigating the new normal. Where do I put my self-care time in now? Because I always had a plan. I always did it a certain way. Now I need to figure out a new way. I need to shift. I need to
you're healing
change.
that control. You're healing that control freak that we both are,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're different flavors of control freaks because yours is more internal. Mine is definitely more external because not only do I want to control me and my stuff, but I want to control everybody else. Like, I laugh at myself when I walk in the neighborhood because, there are I'm in an HOA now and there are all these rules about what you have to do and you should do and your front of your house needs to look like this and blah, 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 blah. And I'm walking and I'm looking and going, there's a violation and there's a violation. And it's like, shut up, head. Yeah. That is not my responsibility. You know? I mean, yes, but it is a new, like for 3 years, I lived in a place where I didn't have to answer to anybody, like it wasn't my responsibility. I wasn't part of the group that had to follow all these rules. I was just living in somebody else's house. Yeah. It's interesting, the new normal. There is definitely a new normal here.
And I have that feeling that it's going to change again.
Yeah.
We're in the eclipse portal, like I said. So where is this shift guiding us? I feel like that's the energy right now. I know where we think it's guiding us, but for our listeners too, like keep that in mind when the shifts come up. Like the mammogram, I think that's a great thing because, all right, so we talk about the migraines and the scheduling, and then you had the pinched nerve. What would have happened if you didn't get your mammogram? Like you should every year. Like you were taking care of yourself, doing what you needed to do. And if you didn't do that, if you put that off,
I would still be in pinched nerve hell right now.
Yeah.
I still would have been. I mean, because so I'm putting on my massage therapist hat again. Really what the mammogram did beautifully was it pulled on the connective tissue, the myofascial tissue, and it held it long enough for the trigger points that were creating the pinched nerve to release.
Yep.
That's the technical. Okay. I could not create that much tension from probably the multiple trigger points that were all up in this shoulder girdle in the back of the neck and stuff from self-inflicted, owning it, overuse, lifting things that were too heavy for me, packing, bending, all of that kind of stuff. I would not rest into that kind of pressure long enough to release it for myself. So, the universe said, go take care of yourself and get that mammogram. And, I don't recommend that as your course of treatment for. Don't just add one on.
Advice.
Yeah, it's not. But it was a joyful gift. Like, I think maybe that's the piece that I want to come out from it is like the joyful surprise, the unexpected that comes out of something. I wasn't planning for relief in that scenario.
The opposite.
Certainly not. And yet I got something in a place that was so unexpected.
Yep. I love that.
And allowing ourselves to receive in that way, I think is such a powerful lesson because we should all over ourselves all the time.
Yep.
And it can be too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so the release in that is good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Miss, where are we going from here? What else do we want to add in about that's in the astrology? What's coming? Do you want to give them any kind of warning, Will Robinson?
Pretty much the biggest thing is that we have some of those bigger planets that we talked about, Neptune and Saturn, are sliding back into Pisces. So we talked about the big shift into Aries. Now there's something that we're revisiting. It's kind of like Mercury retrograde on steroids. And I don't look at it as in a bad way. Everybody thinks Mercury retrograde, oh my God. No, this is a learning experience. Like, what do you need to button up in an area that, if you know your chart, wherever you have Pisces at, but if you don't, just what are some themes that came up maybe in the beginning of the year that you're going to be going back to? Whether that's, a relationship that you need to stand up more firmly in, or, creating your own space, creating your own new normal. Like, Pisces for me is in my 6th house of daily routine, health and wellness.
Yeah.
So I am revisiting on how I have to do that right now. Like, how am I going to be doing
you'll get another puppy.
Maybe. How about we not? But yeah. So it's being open to letting the energy show you what still needs to be worked on. Not in a bad way, not in a controlling way, but what still needs to shift in an area before we move forward into that place of Aries come next year. Yeah. I was talking earlier before, we hit record about, I feel like we're in this void of energy. Not in a nothing place, but magic happens in the void, but it feels like nothing is happening. So just honor your energy where you're at right now. Have gratitude for where you've been, for what the lessons have shown you this far, and have curiosity about what's coming forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the void is an integral part. There's a word that just kind of wanted to come in. It's the void to me is the pause between breathing. You have the inhale, you have the exhale, and most people forget that in the middle of that, there is non-movement. But so much happens there because it is a transition. It's pivotal. It's integrating, like the body can't exist without that switching. And that's what happens in these places, like the retrogrades, like the eclipse season. It is that opportunity to make that transition and make those changes, expected or unexpected, stick for your highest good. There is so much information that comes at us, and there's more information coming at us now in the age of technology that we're always taking in, listening to, like even podcasts. Like, hey, I'm not saying don't listen to our podcast, but you take it in. But then after you listen to it, like, what landed for you? What hit for you? What was your greatest takeaway from listening to us going back and forth? Because see, a lot of times we skip over that part and then we want to go on to the next lesson, but we haven't even digested the bites from this one.
Yep.
And that's what happens in what Elaine's referencing as the void, the pause, you need those moments. And with Mercury retrograde happening as frequently as it does, if we looked at that as a time of integration, instead of, oh my God, my computer is going to die, or I can't buy a house because the contract's going to be fucked up, whatever. If we look at it as that place where we have an opportunity to let it settle in, then the next one is going to build on that, and we're going to have a richer learning. Wow, I don't even know where that came from.
I know, I love that. That was magic. Magic happens in the void.
It does. It does. Alrighty then. So to our listeners and viewers, we are getting back on track.
Yes.
But I'm going to be honest with you. You got to expect the unexpected because we set a schedule and, we had a time set, for example, this morning. I was running late. Elaine was running late, but neither one of us said it until Elaine said, hey, can we just push it back a half an hour? Because, I've got more chicken chores to do. And I was like, thank God. I didn't want to be the one to say I'm running behind because I've been out of sorts for a little bit. So make your plan. Be open to the unexpected. Be willing to make that little shift. And there you have it.
Yep.
Until
that's it. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Until next time.
Thank you for being here with us. Take a moment to notice what resonated, what shifted, what opened, and what might be asking for your attention. This work isn't about having all the answers. It's about learning to witness yourself with curiosity, compassion, and presence as you move through your own transitional pathways. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep discovering.